Does the cold, hard calculator of the salary cap era have a heart? Or are we witnessing the soulless commoditization of loyalty in real time? That is the gut-wrenching question echoing through the corridors of Rogers Place right now. It is a question that makes every die-hard fan uneasy, because we are watching a slow-motion car crash involving one of the most beloved figures in the Oilers' recent history. We aren't talking about a superstar who puts up 100 points. We are talking about something rarer, the heartbeat of the locker room. The Edmonton Oilers are currently embroiled in a three-headed monster situation in the net, a scenario that, historically speaking, is a ticking time bomb for team chemistry. With Jarry finally healthy and Connor Ingram playing some of the best hockey of his life, the odd man out is the steady, reliable, and universally respected Calvin Pickard. But let's not sugarcoat this. Trading Pickard isn't just a roster move, it's a surgical removal of the team's conscience, and the patient might not recover the way the front office thinks. To understand the gravity of this, we have to zoom out and look at the context of the 2025-26 season. The Oilers have been desperately trying to stabilize their goaltending for what feels like a decade. We have seen the carousel from the Mike Smith era to the Jack Campbell experiment that went up in flames, and now, finally, they have depth. Too much depth. Jarry was brought in to be the savior, the big-ticket starter. Ingram has emerged as a legitimate 1A option. And there sits Pickard, the quintessential professional, watching his time in copper and blue tick away. The three-goalie rotation is the unicorn of the NHL. Everyone thinks they can make it work, but it almost always ends in disaster. It kills rhythm, it creates resentment, and it wastes a roster spot. The math says Pickard has to go. He is the easiest asset to move, he clears the necessary space, and on a spreadsheet he is the worst of the three. But since when is hockey played on a spreadsheet? This situation reeks of the ruthlessness we saw in Vegas during their early years, trading away beloved players for marginal upgrades. The Oilers faithful are torn. On one hand, you have the armchair GM screaming about save percentages and goals saved above expected, arguing that Jarry and Ingram give the team the best statistical chance to hoist the cup. On the other hand, you have the heart and soul faction, the fans who remember the dark days, the fans who remember how Pickard stepped up when the world was collapsing around this team. They look at this potential trade and see a betrayal. They see a management group prioritizing numbers over the human element that actually wins championships. The atmosphere in Edmonton is heavy. You can feel it in the interviews, you can see it in the body language. They know a goodbye is coming, and it feels like saying goodbye to a family member just to save a few dollars on the heating bill. It's practical, sure, but it's cold. And in a Canadian market where emotion fuels the engine, freezing out your most loyal soldier sends a message that echoes loudly. You are all just assets. Let's dig into the anatomy of a glue guy and why the analytics community constantly undervalues the human element of a championship roster. When we talk about Calvin Pickard, we are not talking about a Vezina Trophy contender in 2026. We know that. His numbers this season have dipped compared to the elite metrics of Ingram. But to reduce Pickard to his 2025-26 stat line is to completely misunderstand the architecture of a winning team. Go back to the Stanley Cup final run. Who was the calm in the center of the storm? When the starters faltered, when the pressure of the City of Champions became suffocating, it was Pickard who stepped into the crease with zero ego and maximum effort. He provided the kind of clutch relief that saves seasons. He is the safety valve. In the high-stakes pressure cooker of the NHL playoffs, you cannot quantify the value of a backup goalie who doesn't complain, doesn't pout, and is universally loved by the superstars in front of him. Think about the psychological impact on the locker room. We are talking about a room with massive personalities. To keep that ecosystem healthy, you need stabilizers. Pickard is a low-maintenance, high-character veteran. He is the guy who stays late to help rookies, the guy who keeps the mood light on a 4-game losing streak. If you trade him, who fills that void? Jarry has a history of being emotionally volatile and injury-prone. Connor Ingram is fantastic, but can he handle the mental load alone if Jarry goes down? By trading Pickard, the Oilers are removing their insurance policy, not just for goaltending performance, but for locker room sanity. We have seen this movie before with other franchises. Remember when the Avalanche traded away key glue guys and the room fractured? Or when the Leafs tried to construct a team purely on talent without regard for the room and failed over and over? Chemistry is fragile. It takes months to build and one bad trade to destroy. Furthermore, let's look at the scenario analysis of this move. Suppose the Oilers trade Pickard to a team desperate for goaltending, maybe a rebuilding squad looking for a mentor. 2 weeks later, Jarry tweaks a groin or struggles with consistency, which has been the story of his career. Suddenly, you are relying entirely on Ingram, with no veteran backup to steady the ship. You are one injury away from disaster, and you just traded away the one guy who knew the system, knew the players, and had the trust of the coaching staff. The cap hit relief they get from moving Pickard is minimal compared to the risk they are taking. The Oilers are essentially betting that everything will go perfectly for Jarry and Ingram for the rest of the season and playoffs. In the NHL, betting on perfection is usually a fool's errand. The voice of the locker room is silent publicly, but you have to imagine the leaders, the captains and the veterans, are lobbying management behind closed doors. They know that you don't win wars by firing the guy who keeps the platoon together. Pickard's value is intangible, and unfortunately, intangibles don't show up on the general manager's trade value chart. In the end, professional sports is a brutal business that often demands we sacrifice the heart to save the body, but sometimes that surgery proves fatal. The impending departure of Calvin Pickard is a stark reminder that the team concept is often an illusion shattered by the reality of asset management. The Oilers are making a calculated gamble. They are betting that the superior athleticism and current form of Jarry and Ingram will outweigh the loss of leadership and stability that Pickard provides. They are betting that good vibes don't stop pucks. And from a strictly logical standpoint, they might be right. If Jarry returns to all-star form and leads Edmonton to a parade, nobody will remember the backup goalie they traded in January or February. History is written by the victors, and the victors rarely mourn the role players they left behind. However, there is a shadow hanging over this decision. If the Oilers stumble, if the goaltending implodes in the first round of the playoffs again, this moment will be pinpointed as the turning point. It will be the moment they chose hubris over humility. We must ask ourselves, what is the price of a soul? Pickard represents the best of what sports should be: hard work, humility, resilience, and being a supreme teammate. Losing him strips a layer of humanity away from a team that desperately needs to stay grounded. The Oilers aren't just losing a goalie, they are losing a brother. The fans know it, the players know it, and deep down, I think even the management knows they're playing with fire. The legacy of Calvin Pickard in Edmonton won't be defined by a retired jersey or a statue, but by the warmth he brought to a cold position. He was the ultimate professional in an era of divas. As we watch the trade ticker, waiting for the inevitable announcement that sends him packing, we should take a moment to appreciate the invisible work he did. The pats on the back, the quiet conversations, the steady presence. You don't realize how important those things are until they're gone. So here is the question I want to leave you with, and I want you to really think about this before you answer. Is chemistry a myth, or is it the most important stat in hockey? If you were the GM, would you trade a beloved locker room leader just because the spreadsheet says he's the third best option, or do you find a way to keep the family together? I want to hear your voice. Are you team logic backing the Jarry/Ingram tandem, or are you team heart and devastated to see Pickard go? Sound off in the comments below. Let's turn this comment section into the biggest debate in the hockey world. Don't forget to smash that like button if you appreciate the human side of the game, and subscribe so you don't miss our breakdown when the trade finally drops. Stay sharp, folks.